The waitress was already on her knees when the slap of a high heel echoed across the diner floor. Coffee cups rattled. She clutched the tiny puppy to her chest as a rich woman screamed inches from her face. No one noticed the quiet man at the counter watching everything. The bell above the diner door jingled as the couple walked in, dressed like they owned the place. The woman's heels clicked sharply against the black and white tiles, red dress flawless, chin lifted. Her husband followed, tailored suit, gold watch catching the light. Conversations faded. Even the cook glanced up. They didn't smile at anyone. They never did. She wrinkled her nose at the counter, complaining about the smell, the coffee, the service. Then her eyes dropped under the register. A tiny brown puppy blinked back. "What is that thing?" she snapped, voice slicing the room. The waitress froze. She tried to explain, but the woman stepped closer, calling it dirty, calling it disease. "Get down and move it away," she ordered. Embarrassed, shaking, the girl knelt and hugged the puppy tight. Phones lifted. No one interfered. The suited husband folded his arms, towering over her like a judge. At the far end of the counter, a quiet man stirred his coffee once, watching, saying nothing. His eyes unreadable, calm as the tension tightened like a wire between them. Her name was Emily, though most customers never bothered to learn it. To them, she was just Waitress, the girl refilling coffee and wiping tables long after midnight. She worked double shifts 6 days a week, saving every dollar, counting tips like they were lifelines. Not money. Last night, walking home through the alley behind the bus station, she had heard a faint whimper near the trash bins. Rain poured hard, soaking her uniform, but the sound wouldn't stop. She found the tiny puppy shivering inside a torn box, ribs showing, eyes barely open. Someone had thrown him away like garbage. She wrapped him in her apron and carried him home against her chest, whispering promises she wasn't sure she could keep. She couldn't afford a vet yet. Rent was already late, but leaving him there wasn't an option. He needed her. Maybe more than she needed anything. Now, back on the diner floor, with strangers staring and voices rising, she held him tighter. If they wanted to humiliate her, fine. But she wasn't letting anyone touch him. The woman's patience snapped like a brittle twig. "This is disgusting," she hissed, loud enough for every booth to hear. "You let animals crawl around where people eat?" Her voice carried across the diner, sharp and theatrical. She wanted an audience, and she got one. Forks paused mid-her. Coffee mugs hovered halfway to lips. Her husband stepped forward, towering and broad, the kind of man used to people moving out of his way. With the edge of his polished shoe, he shoved the small cardboard crate aside. It scraped loudly across the tiles. The puppy yelped, tiny paws scrambling. Emily dropped lower, shielding him with her body like a wall. "Fire her," the woman demanded, pointing toward the counter. "Right now, or we call the health department." Several customers quietly pulled out their phones, recording. No one intervened. Fear hung thick in the air. From the counter, the quiet man hadn't moved. His shoulders stayed relaxed, but his eyes tracked every motion, steady and calculating. There were faint scars along his knuckles, old and pale. The kind earned, not given. He sipped his coffee once more, silent, waiting. The manager rushed out from the kitchen, wiping his hands nervously on a stained towel. Sweat beaded along his forehead even though the diner was cool. He knew the couple. Big spenders. Loud complainers. The kind who left reviews that could bury a small place overnight. His eyes flickered from them to Emily, then quickly away. Maybe it's best you step outside for a while," he muttered, voice thin. "Not fired? Not defended?" "Just pushed aside." Emily's throat tightened. "Please," she whispered, clutching the puppy closer. "I'll keep him hidden. I just need this job." Her voice cracked on the last word. The woman laughed under her breath and pulled out her phone. "Call the police," she said to her husband. "Let them handle it." He stepped closer, looming, shadow falling over Emily like a storm cloud. The puppy whimpered again. Across the counter, the quiet man set his mug down carefully. Too carefully. His fingers curled around the metal spoon, and without effort it bent slightly in his grip. His jaw tightened, eyes never leaving them. Something inside him had shifted. The husband's patience vanished. He reached down and grabbed Emily's arm, fingers digging in hard enough to leave marks. She gasped, trying not to drop the puppy as her balance slipped. The small bundle wriggled free for a second, tiny paws sliding across the tile, nails scraping helplessly. "Please stop!" she cried, scrambling to catch him before he hit the floor. The diner went silent. No forks, no whispers. Even the neon signs seemed to hum softer. Every eye locked onto the scene like it was happening underwater, slow and unreal. The puppy squealed, high and terrified, echoing off the walls. Emily fell to both knees, wrapping herself around him protectively. Her shoulders shook, then a sharp scrape cut through the quiet. A chair dragged back across the floor, not loud, not dramatic, just deliberate. Heads turned toward the counter. The quiet man finally stood. He didn't rush, didn't shout. He simply rose to his full height, rolling his shoulders once like someone preparing for work, calm, controlled, and somehow that scared everyone more. Let her go. The man's voice wasn't loud, yet it carried across the diner like a command, calm, steady, the kind of tone people obeyed without thinking. The husband paused mid-grip, glancing back with irritation that quickly shifted into uncertainty. Something about the stranger felt different. He stepped forward slowly, boots heavy against the tile. Up close, the details showed: broad shoulders, straight posture, faded scars lining his knuckles and forearms. A small trident tattoo peeked from beneath his sleeve. Not decoration, history. "I wouldn't touch her again," he said quietly. The husband scoffed. "And who are you supposed to be?" The man met his eyes without blinking. "Retired Navy SEAL." The words dropped like a weight. Suddenly the room made sense. The stillness, the watchful gaze, the way he moved like everything was calculated. Not angry, trained. The husband's grip loosened instantly. "Security's already on their way," the man added, voice even. "And those cameras caught everything. Assault charges stick." Phones around the diner tilted higher. The rich woman's confidence cracked. "Let's just go," she muttered. They backed away, pride crumbling under the stairs. The man knelt beside Emily, gently steadying the shaking puppy. "You're safe now," he said softly, for the first time all night. The diner breathed again. Silence lingered after the doors closed behind the couple, like the whole diner had just exhaled at once. Emily stayed on her knees for a moment, shaking, the puppy tucked beneath her chin, feeling his tiny heartbeat racing against hers. Tears finally spilled, quiet and relieved. Customers lowered their phones and offered napkins, small smiles replacing the earlier fear. The manager cleared his throat and promised her shift was safe, her job untouched, her tips doubled for the night. The former SEAL crouched beside the puppy, scratching behind its ears, checking its ribs with careful hands. He slipped a card into her palm and said there was a vet he trusted, no charge, just go tomorrow morning, please. She nodded, whispering thanks, hope blooming warm and bright inside her again.